So just, guys, I want to introduce myself real quick. I know many of you have gotten an email probably that said log in and here's the details. And I did put a little message on that, but I think it's important that, we get to know each other. And I wanted to give you a little bit of background tonight on what it is that we're going to do together. So thank you, number one, to all the coaches for giving me the opportunity to help you guys. And thank you, to the team, you guys being open and being responsive and being excited about, training, right? So for me, I started my career at 19 years old, maybe the same age as some of you. And, I started as an intern with the New York Yankees. I was fortunate to do that. I was a player myself, but I was an underperforming player. So I never got a chance to go to the big leagues as a player myself, but I did have a great opportunity to learn from some of the greatest players the game has ever had, in players like Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettit, you name it, across the board. So those are the guys that I got to work with and watch work for most of my career. And it was a true blessing. And I wish I knew, as a player, what I know now, because I did so much extra work. I put so much pressure on myself to be great. And it didn't put me in a position of success. It actually moved me closer to a position of failure because I was doing a lot of the wrong stuff. So I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm very passionate about working with college players, young pro players, and just to help develop players in general. And that's why I'm here. So I want to get into just a little bit of the plan, what it is that we're here to do, and what it is that we're all about, and what I'm all about as it relates to this program. So number one, the goal here is to get you consistent on a weekly training program. Each part of the program is going to last 4 weeks. And at the end of 4 weeks, you're going to check your app and a new program is going to be there for you. And then each level of the program is going to build on top of itself. So if you look at your program and you say, hey, there's not a lot of lifting in this program, or I'm more of a heavy lifting kind of guy, coach, I don't see any of that in here. What's the deal? And I'm going to tell you, listen, every phase of the program builds on top of the other phase, because I have goals for you. And those goals for you are, number one, I don't want you to get hurt. Number two, I want you to be as strong as possible come the end of the program, which is really the start of the season. Now, we do train in season, but I want you to be as strong as possible, and I want you to have a lot of power output. Power output in the sport of baseball translates to greater velocity, and it translates to greater speed as it relates to you in terms of running, and greater velocity in terms of throwing velocity and exit velocity out of the hand. So greater strength, greater power, lower chances of injury. And also on top of that, we want to create a program that includes the injury prevention type stuff in terms of mobility, core training, and an arm exercise program for everybody. So that's the whole objective here. So if you don't see what you like to see on the program right now, at some point during the program, you'll see more of what you like to see, which will help you, develop the guns that you all want to look good for the ladies. Okay. We'll get to that time, but just understand that there's a rhyme and a reason behind the program I'm designing and how it's designed, and also how I'm leaking it to you. So I want to put that out there, because some people, have their own ideas about training, and that's great. And I appreciate those ideas, but I do want to let you know that there's a sequence here, and everything builds on top of the previous program. So if you start doing too many things outside of the program, it could become a bit costly as it relates to the whole. So I want to just tell you that. The other thing that I did was this. I split you guys into two groups. We have our pitchers and we have our position players. So you guys have different programs based on, what it is that you do in your primary position. Okay. So we took that into consideration. I was just telling Coach Robinson that I've gotten some questions about nutrition, and it is extremely important, but I don't believe in doing everything at once. So when we jump on our call next month, which we're going to do, just like tonight, I'm going to go over nutrition with you. And I'm going to teach you about nutrition as it pertains to you being an athlete, as it pertains to giving you energy and reducing any extra body fat that you may have on your body. And for those that are looking to add weight and add size, we're going to go over that as well. So just hang with me. I know I got a couple questions on that, but hang with me. We're going to get there. So I appreciate your enthusiasm and I appreciate your excitement. And, you know, what I want to do too is we need to create a relationship together where if you guys have questions and you need to ask something, you know, you could either A, do it through the app when you're on it, or B, you could shoot me an email and I'll be happy to answer that with you. And we can, you know, make it happen for you. I'll get you the answer to any questions that you may have. So that's what I have for you tonight. And I know there's some recruits on the line as well. Coach Pickens told me, and I want to welcome you guys as well. And, you know, I know you'll find a great home here, and you got a great coaching staff and some great players on this team. And I'm excited, really am, to work with all of you and help you achieve your dream and also your goals. And I'm committed to that. And if I wasn't, I would have said no to this, you know, to this opportunity. So I'm very excited for that. So before, you know, I open it up for questions, I'm going to ask this question. Do any of you have any questions that you'd like to ask me tonight? And maybe I can help you with that. And if you do, let's go. Just be respectful. I know everyone's pretty much on mute right now. If one person asks a question, mute yourself and let that person ask. So any questions for me? And you could even put them in the chat here on the side if you don't feel comfortable speaking. But we're going to break through that barrier if there is one. Nothing?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how are you?
What? I'm good. What is this app that you're talking about with the whole plan?
So you should have gotten an email. I sent them out, I want to say on Friday.
Okay. I can't check right. Actually, yes, I can.
And you know, so for those of you, I know that you know, for most of you guys it went through because
Pick who is that's asking that question?
Nicholas.
Nick Ramirez. How you doing,
Nick
Coach?
Ramirez. Hi, Nick. You didn't get it. You didn't get the app because we have to wait till you get here to get the app. So the app is designed for players that are here. So
Okay.
All right, there we go. We got an answer. Cool. I have a question here. I'm gonna answer it from it's private. Carson Bassett. High reps versus low weight, or high weight and low reps. So earlier on, I set the reps for you. So when you guys look at your app, you're going to see the reps. It's hard for me to determine what the weights should be for you because I can't coach 50 guys one-on-one from where I am. Okay. So what I set up was the exercises for you. And I also set up the rep ranges for you and the amount of sets. Okay. So you should have that. When it comes to the weights, you want to give yourself, by the end of if I prescribe 15 repetitions, by the time you get to 15, you should be working hard to get that 15th rep. If I give you 5, you should be working hard, pushing through to get to that 5. So you got to determine for yourself. And what's great about this is too, you get to self-coach yourself, which means you got to give effort in if you want to get effort out or you want to get results out. And that's something that you got to remember here. So high reps versus low weight, high weight versus low reps. This is an age-old question. In the early phases of this program, you're going to see that the rep ranges are going to be a bit higher. And I'm going to tell you why. I want to build what I call work capacity. I want to build your ability to do sustainable work over time and build the endurance within your body. As we get closer to the season, we're going to get faster in terms of the movements, and we're also going to get our rep ranges condensed. Our reps are going to go down. So we're going to be working more explosively as we get closer to the season, and our volume is going to go down. So that's something to remember, okay? Should we do our max lifts and then take certain percentages for those reps? Had that in past routines? No. So, excuse me, in all my years in professional ball, we never did rep maxes, and we never did even 3 RMs, 3 rep maxes. We found that for the sport of football, that's much more appropriate. But for what we're doing here, not so much. As baseball players, it's always about thinking about speed. How fast can I move while maintaining my form? That's the key. How fast can I move while maintaining my form, but also moving the most weight as possible that I can do? So a lot of times when we see 1 RMs, 3 RMs, even 5 RMs, right? Rep maxes, we see that the athlete can do it, but they're very sloppy because they're chasing rep maxes. I want you to be chasing perfection in your movement, perfection in your repetition, and perfection as it relates to moving with great movement patterns with speed. That's what I want you to focus on. And like I said, you're going to see in this early phase of the program, you won't even be able to look at a rep max because it won't matter. The exercise prescription that's there isn't in line with any rep max activity.
Hey, Coach,
Yeah.
This is Coach Robinson. Hey, so when I looked at the app, we have the I think it was the push or pull phase was first, and then we went through and had the other phase. Should we be doing all those in one day? Is that one a day, one per day? I mean, what do we got?
Okay, so the way I set it up, and I'm going in here. If I could log in on my end, it would be easier. I'm doing it through the phone so I can see exactly what you guys are seeing. But to answer your question, we're not doing it all in one day. So what we have is for our position players specifically, we have a push day and we have a pull day. Okay, push, pull. Those are done on separate days. And what you should see in your app is a calendar. And within it should say schedule. So you should see when you hit schedule what it is that you have that particular day. So it's you don't have to do it at the exact time that I put. I think I set it for like 9:30. You got to pick the time that works best for you guys, obviously. I'm just trying to see this here. So when you go into your app, just look and you'll see schedule, and it should say, here's the day and here's what you have. And you should be able to mark it as complete as well. So do you guys see that when you check schedule? For those of you that have downloaded this app, and for those of you that haven't, now's a good time to do so.
Dana, if the guys had a choice on when they would lift, I was always told that the guys that sleep, they get rest, they wake up, they work out. When they're rested, they're going to get a better workout in the morning than they would compared to the afternoon. I know some people's schedules only allow certain kinds of activity in the morning or afternoon. But what would you recommend as far as if they had a choice, if they had a couple months where they're on their own, or they're in the summer, they're away from the college, like when do you suggest they work out?
So what I suggest is this, your optimal sort of, the hormone levels for growth hormone, all of that is best in the morning. So you're going to be able to do more early. Now listen, I don't want you to, if you're somebody that you feel like you're at your best at 9 a.m., I don't need you to be up at 6 o'clock trying to optimize in that way, right? If you're at your best at 9 and you feel your best and you feel your strongest at 9, that's when you do it. There's some people that say, hey, coach, I'm better at 7 and it worked great for my schedule. And some people may want to do it a little bit later, around noon. It's okay. I just don't like you to think of, unless you have to, try to get these workouts done before 2 o'clock. Because after that, we're starting to get into the evening time. And again, we start to wear down just a little bit. If you have to do it later, I would prefer you to do it than not do it. Okay? And coach, you know what? I just went into your program. What you see is a little bit different because I put all the guys' programs into yours.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yours looks a little bit messier than everybody else's because you have push day, you have pull days, and you also have a rookie program, that I have set in there as well. So
Okay.
you have everything. That's why
Okay,
yours
good.
is a bit, not as clear, we'll say. But I wanted you to kind of have everybody's program in front of you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the way I look at it, guys. In a perfect world, we work out early. If we can't work out early, we get it in when we can get it. The other thing is for those guys that are body comp guys, guys that we would put in fat camp, you got your plus 10, plus 15, hopefully not much more than that. Or we have some other things we got to work on, which we'll talk about next month in terms of, locking those jaws up. We have to, I suggest that you get it in early before you eat. So if you could get up, hydrate, and go and work out on an empty stomach, that's going to allow you to burn more calories, right? You're going to burn more, and it's going to help you to burn more so you can reduce your pant size a little bit. So that's my advice to those that are carriers, I call them.
What about guys that are interested in protein shakes, supplements, all that stuff? Can you give them a quick rundown?
Scott, we're going to go more into that next month, like I said, but
I just wanted to pull a little bit more out of you.
I know. So I'll talk to you about that very, very simply. You want to have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So let's say you're 100 pounds, 100 grams per day, and you'll see how difficult that is to get. Okay. If you're 200 pounds, you're going to go a bit higher. So it's just a rule of thumb that I'll send out to everybody. And we'll talk more about this next month, but let's just keep it very general. After you work out, get yourself a low calorie protein shake for the guys that are trying to lose weight and trim up. Low calorie protein shake. It should have about 20 to 24 grams of protein per scoop. This is for the guys that are a bit heavier. Mix it with water, shake it up, slam it down. That's a good routine for you, right? And we're going to get into this in greater detail. For those guys that are looking to put on a few pounds, you can go with a shake that's a bit higher in calories, hopefully like 200 to 300 calories in a shake. Same protein though, 20 to 24 grams. And I'm just going to leave that at that for now. Cause when I teach nutrition, it's more, you'll get more out of it when I teach it to you, as opposed to just me giving you little tips and tidbits. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what I have. So, how much time would you suggest per workout? I found I was getting cut off in the middle of the workout to get to class. Well, here's the thing, guys. When you first start this program, remember, it's all new for you. This is all like you've never seen it before. You've never done it before. So when you go through this for the first time, it could take you 60, sometimes upwards of 90 minutes. I don't want you training for 90 minutes. This should be a 60-minute program for you. Okay? Give yourself a little bit more time, the fact that you haven't been through it before, but realize that you want to move through this. This isn't a program where you work out, you look at yourself in the mirror for 10 minutes, and then you do your next set. This is a keep it moving type thing, especially in these early phases, because we're building your endurance. So if you're taking too much rest and too many deep breaths in between, we're unfortunately going to miss out on the endurance component of this, in which we're trying to build in the first 2 phases, really. Okay. So again, I understand when you do it the first time, it could take a bit longer. I know Josh B wrote that. Sayer wrote that. Josh B, how important is sleep? How much do you recommend? And how does it pertain to muscle building? Well, think about where most of your recovery and regeneration takes place. You ever get sick and have a cold? Then what does your body want to do? It wants to sleep. It wants to rest. Because what happens? You regenerate your body, you regenerate your tissue, and you heal. The same thing happens every night of the week. When you go to sleep, your body regenerates and it heals, which means the next day you come back fresh. Now, if you're not coming back fresh, it's probably because you're not getting a good enough sleep. And we'll get into that too. You know, this thing here is dangerous to be on too much before bed. It affects how you sleep. And as an athlete, you got to get deep levels of sleep so you can get deep levels of recovery. And it puts you in a real strong position for success. So I look at sleep like this. Sleep works in 90-minute cycles. So you sleep an hour and a half, you sleep 3 hours, you sleep 4.5 hours, you sleep 6 hours, you sleep 7.5 hours, or you sleep 9 hours. Those are your options. If you wake up before a sleep cycle ends, which is 90 minutes, let's say you wake up at the hour mark, you're going to feel a little tired and groggy. So try to understand your sleep a bit more, but anywhere between 6 and 9 hours, depending on who you are. Some guys, the guys that are a little bit type A, high strung, you're a 6-hour sleeper, maybe 7.5, right? And the guys that are, you know, a little bit less high strung and tight, you guys could oftentimes be your 9-hour sleepers. I guess you could guess where I am. So just think about that. Scott may be like 3 hours. Not sure he sleeps. He just hangs upside down and gets ready for the next day. No, but in all seriousness, guys, sleep is super important, and you really need to prioritize it. And you know, whenever I think of sleep, I really do think of Derek Jeter, because he was a guy that was unwilling to negotiate the loss of any sleep. Like, sleep was his thing. You could call him sometimes 10 in the morning, still in bed. 10:30, still in bed. They value, pro guys especially, they value sleep so much. I mean,
Dana, who is the guy that would sleep 20 minutes with his, you lay down, you sit on his back, and you put his hands on his stomach?
Yeah, that was Raul Ibanez before a game. He would typically lay in the back, take deep breaths before the game, and then he'd get up and go out and do his thing. So everybody's different, but that was just a little pregame type work. But as it relates to getting sleep every night, guys, try to get the same bedtime every night. It's really important, and that'll help you stay on path. So for me, I make my bedtime 10:30 every night. That's just when it happens for me, 10:30, and that's just consistent. You know, I realize that I go to bed so much at that exact time. It's my routine. That's when I go up, 10:30. If I go till 11, or even if I take it earlier, let's say 9:30, sometimes I feel myself waking up in the middle of the night. My whole schedule is off just because of that 30-minute difference, or one way or the other. So you got to get really clear here. I think we got some chop busting here. Trent and Sayer. So that's sleep, guys. Take it seriously. It's a big component to you developing your body. And also, don't forget that this sport is really interesting. There's a lot of mind fatigue that takes place in this sport. It's exhausting. This sport is a mental grind. And when you take this sport that's a mental grind, and you take your schoolwork and everything else that you have to do, it becomes a lot. So make sleep one of your number one priorities. Sleep, train, eat right. Those are the big three right there. And then you go to practice and you give it your all. How much water should we drink a day? Okay, we're going to go over that. But very simply, half your body weight in ounces per day. 200 pounds, 100 ounces. So I keep like big things like this on my desk. I got a water bottle right now in my pocket. So this is 16.9 ounces, just so you know, if you've ever seen one of these. So you could do the math on that. If you're 200 pounds, cut it in half your body weight in ounces per day. You know, you'll need about, 5 to 6 of those a day. That's your minimum. If you're a sweater, a guy that sweats like a piece of bacon on a griddle, you're gonna need a little bit more water. I'd probably go +2. So that's what I have for you guys. And so much of this, fellas, is knowing who you are. Know the type of player you are. Know the type of of person that you are. I can tell just by looking at these boxes who some of you are and how I would approach you. So you're either a burner in terms of your body, you're a fast metabolic machine, or you're somebody that's more of a holder, where you hold weight. You eat and you hold it. You got to know who you are. What else? Any other questions coming in? How much water should we drink? That's the most recent.
I think we're good, Coach. I think we can get going on it, and we'll get after it for a month.
Yeah.
And we'll meet up to you again.
Yeah, I'll meet up with you guys next week. And again, stay in touch. And if you have any questions on this app and how to use it, if you jammed up, just reach out and we'll get you going. Cool?
Let's go. We're excited. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go, boys. Here we go.
Thank you, Dana.
All right. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you.
See ya.
We'll see you soon.
Yep. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.